You've probably seen medieval art that looks like this. It wasn't that artists actually thought humans looked like two-dimensional noodle people, this was simply stylish. Art historian Angelica Seminina writes, artists were tasked with conveying complex theological concepts through visual symbols and allegories, rather than realistic representations of the physical world. You'll notice medieval art usually doesn't have much of a background. It's mostly symbols and figures. Medieval art looks flat and amateurish compared to Renaissance art. Simple shapes work well for tapestries and stained glass, two popular forms of medieval art. Figures were used to decorate text, which means they were actually quite small. Let's look closer at some medieval art. The Book of Kels is an iconic piece of Celtic history. The text is not so unique, it's simply the 4 Christian Gospels written in Latin, but the illustrations practically glow. This illuminated manuscript features Celtic knots, baffling creatures, and intricate details. Anne-Marie Diffley of the Old Library at Trinity College writes, every medieval monastery held copies of sacred texts, but the Book of Kels is one of only a tiny fraction that have survived. The Book of Kels survived a brutal Viking raid where 68 monks were slaughtered. There was a legend that the Book of Kels was written by angels and that the unworthy would go blind if they looked at it. We know that monks created the Book of Kels, not angels, but that doesn't make it any less stunning. Some of the images are very tiny and some appear to move. The book is made of pigment on vellum or animal skin. It's called the Book of Kels because it ended up in Kells, Ireland. It's the subject of the animated feature The Secret of Kells. You can see the Book of Kels at Trinity College in Ireland. The Notre Dame de Paris is one of the world's most famous churches. Notre Dame means Our Lady in French. This cathedral took almost 100 years to complete and has stood for almost 1,000. It has many trademarks of Gothic architecture, such as Moorish arches, rose windows, and gargoyles. The cathedral is the setting for the animated feature The Hunchback of Notre Dame, although this film takes place during the Renaissance. Notre Dame is still a functioning Catholic church, and you can visit it in Paris, France. I think the unicorn tapestries are so popular because they're just good design. They have contrast, symmetry, and a big circle. In the Middle Ages, the unicorn represented virginity. Some said only a virgin could approach a unicorn. Some say the unicorn is a virgin, and the unicorn in captivity represents marriage. Some historians believe these tapestries were actually a wedding present. The tapestries use a millefleur or millions of flowers motif. The tapestries come from Brussels and the weaver is unknown. Medieval and Gothic design imply otherness, mystery, and a touch of the arcane. How does one emerge from a dark age? I have to believe medieval artists saw the humor in their confusing world.